Hey guys! So today we're going to talk about professional personas. This is kind of a weird topic, but it's something that I think about a lot because I have created one. I've, through the past 5 years, I've really created and curated a persona which is based on my own personality and based on who I am as a human, but is just a little bit more controlled and, as I said, curated, of a teacher, of a mentor, of that safe person that knows what they're talking about and is willing to help you with anything and actually knows what they're talking about. And that's something that has been pointed out by a lot of my friends, is that the person that I present here isn't necessarily what they see in real life. And that's not to say that I'm not the same person. It's just a controlled version. I'm not as sarcastic. I'm not as there are fewer witty barbs, and I'm not gonna make fun of you for asking these questions, where some of my friends might come up to me and say something kind of silly or something that I feel like I can run with, and I'll make fun of them. It's in a loving way, and they all know that's part of what I do, but on the internet, that isn't conveyed. You can't convey tone the same way, and you can't necessarily know how someone's going to react. So that's something that I toned down and tried to pull back on, so that everyone who was coming to me felt like they would be answered in a safe, respected way, and that they weren't asking me stupid questions. Because there are no stupid questions. And that's why I always answer everything I get, even the things that people might think are basic, is you don't know where anyone's coming from. And my whole deal is that I want to help as many people as I can. So why is this important? Why is it important to kind of create or curate this persona? You're basically interviewing for a job 24/7. And I know that sounds really lame, and I know that, like, a lot of you guys are just like, okay, Robin, why are you talking about this? This doesn't matter. But I'm in the real world now, and I'm applying to jobs, and some of these videos and some of the resources that I've created through YouTube and through Tumblr are things that I'm using to get jobs. They're things that I can use to prove that I do know what I'm talking about as a teacher, and that's what I want to do. And I'm also looking at positions in social media management and social media curation. And these are things that, like, hey, look, I can put together a professional thing on Tumblr, which is a platform that not many people know how to use. And yeah, Tumblr is seen as this, like, trash website and everything like that, but if you look at the music community, it's a very professional community. Lincoln Center, Powell, there's a lot of major ensembles and major organizations that use Tumblr. So it's not just where memes happen and stupid things happen. It like really, especially for the classical music world, is something that people are starting to look at as a valid platform. So having a blog where I am professional, and yes, it's personal, and yes, I have created personal connections, but it's still not me brain dumping. I really think about what I post, and I really make sure that it's what I want. And even the personal stuff are things that I've thought about. That's why I don't talk about my boyfriend all the time, and it's why he doesn't have a name. And it's why I haven't really talked about my personal life all that much. There's references to it, and there's things like that, but it's really a music blog, and it's Tumors in Music. It's Robin Makeson's flute teacher, flute mentor, music person. It's not Robin Makeson's 24-year-old, just out of school person. Because they're two different people in my eyes, and that's what they should be. So for you guys, all of this social media and all of the way that you interact with people on the site is creating professional opportunities, potentially. It doesn't have to, and you can choose to let Tumblr be your outlet, and that's great. but there's still a need for a persona, a professional persona. It's the same thing when you go into job interviews. People always tell you to have this like almost rehearsed idea of what you're going to say to a lot of those like standard questions. Like really think about how you're going to say it and how you're going to present yourself. It's that, but presenting yourself like that all the time. And the thing is, music isn't just an interview. It's how you interact with your peers, it's how you interact with fellow musicians and with older musicians, and it's what connections you make. So having this professional persona that people can really appreciate and feel like you can go into an ensemble and function, or can go into a teaching position and function, even just from a social interaction away from an office or away from a job interview, is really important. And so this is kind of something that's come to me over the course of years in trial and error, and that's part of what music school is for, is like figuring out who you are and figuring out who you are as a professional. But I think we don't really think about the professional side of things as much, because you're 20 and you're trying to figure out who you are as a person. And I'm 20, I'm not that much older. I'm still trying to figure out who I am as a person as well. But in the meantime, I have this persona that can go out into the world and can try to get jobs. So I think for a lot of you guys, especially those of you in undergrad, thinking about how you interact with your peers and with your teachers, and whether that's an effective communication and whether that paints you in the best light, is something that you really should start doing. It's a little scary and it feels a little weird when you start, but as you progress and as you get better at it, people start responding to you differently and they start really trusting you and respecting you. So it's a really helpful thing. Yeah, it's a really abstract concept because I can't tell you how to do it, because you have to take your own personality and figure out how that works in a professional world. So it involves a lot of self-reflection, and it involves a lot of thinking and trial and error, and that's why music school is great. But it's something that I think all of you guys should start thinking about if you haven't already. And if you have, it's always something you're working on. For me, it's always trying to figure out how I can keep myself at the core and still present the most polished version of myself that I want to. So yeah, I know this is kind of a weird rambling video and it might be a little abstract for a lot of you guys, or just seem useless for a lot of you guys, but I hope that some of you guys can really take this to heart and really start thinking about it, because I think it'll help a lot of all of us, myself included, to really make it in the music world. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a great week, and as always, if you have video ideas, please let me know, and I will see you next week.